So Argylle, it was a thing. I This is going to be my impressions of Argylle, having just watched it. I didn't have any idea what I was getting into. I didn't watch the trailer, didn't read the synopsis, didn't watch any reviews. I only found out about it about 34 hours ago when I saw a, a banner ad on YouTube or something that said this is coming out now or coming out to. Was it YouTube or Facebook? Anyway, I saw the ad that it was out, and I was like, I had no idea this film was even a thing. But if you look at the banner, it's got a fantastic cast. I was like, I need to see this film. And for some reason, films lately, like the last film I saw was Dune, and it's not because there weren't other films that I wouldn't have wanted to see. It's because I only found out about those films 6 months after they had come and gone from the theaters. It's like, well, how are we supposed to want to go see a thing if we don't even know it exists? But I digress. It's a comedy, for those of you who don't know. That's all I will. Yeah, I'm not going to give you any spoilers in this. If you want me to do a full play-by-play review, I can do that. But let's just stick to whether or not I enjoyed it, what I didn't like about it, and go from there. So, right off the bat, I'm going to forewarn everyone. Henry Cavill, although he may be front and center on the posters and the banner ads and stuff, he's not the main character. And that is a little bit disappointing, especially for me, because that's part of why I wanted to go, especially with everything that happened with The Witcher and him getting sidelined. And you have to wonder going into it, is this what they're doing? But as the plot develops, it makes sense. That's not what's happening. It's part of the plot. Trust me, it's fine. I would have wanted to see this film were he not in it regardless. Because at the end of the day, I found it enjoyable, even though there's a couple small gripes I have with it, but that's just about every film. I thought it was entertaining, and at the end of the day, that's all it needs to do. So it's a comedy, not necessarily on its face. It's a comedy spy movie. It's not like Spies Like Us or Johnny English or Get Smart, where it plays off of spies that suck at being spies. It's the absurdity of the everything that's going on. And if you don't like things that are cheesy or outright stupid, you're not going to like this film. It was kind of similar in tone to Mr. Right, another film with Sam Rockwell in, which I would highly recommend you go watch. I actually think it was a little bit better than Argylle. It had a little bit more depth. But that aside, this was in many ways different, but it had a lot of similarities. So that's probably the best comparison. Date Night, I guess, is kind of similar to this one. I think it's called Date Night with Steve Carell, where he and his wife kind of get caught up in a bunch of high stakes situations. That's all I will get at there. Things I really liked. There was a scene later towards the end of the film that involved a lot of smoke. It was just sort of CGI, but it looked great. The camera work, which I wasn't super thrilled about at the start of the film, and also just the first sort of scene was quite jumbled. I think they really could have done a little bit better of a job to make it more congruent and impactful, even though it was kind of a minor part of the overall film. But that scene with the smoke was great. It was so ludicrous, but perfect. I won't go any more into that. But otherwise, John Cena. I actually think John Cena did a pretty solid job of portraying the character he was doing, which I know is kind of funny to say, because everyone not necessarily think that, or because as a wrestler or a former wrestler, people don't necessarily think a lot of John Cena, but he was pretty good. Um, the actress who plays the character plays the role she has as a writer very well. I won't get into anything more specific on that either. The things I didn't like: the camera work at the start, the disappointment of Henry Cavill not necessarily being in it as much, which was fine because, again, it makes sense plot wise, and then the sort of boss girlness of it later, which the whole boss girl thing is a caricature which fits the film quite well because of how absurd it is. I don't think that was their intent fully in it, but it makes sense in that regard at least, and it fits well with just everything is absurd. Um, but yeah, other than that, I don't think there were any major complaints. It wasn't as good as I think it could have been, but I wouldn't change it because then it would just be one of those other films, and having it be its own thing is appreciated, even though at times I was like, am I watching Mr. Right again? It's like, well, in a way, but in a way all spy movies are the same as well, or all action movies, or just all movies, because there are always some commonality. Like, if you watch the Bourne movies, there's going to be a part where he's in a hallway firing a gun. How many other movies have a guy in a hallway firing a gun? Anyway, moving on. So overall, I thought it was good. I thought it was worth the $16 that I spent on the ticket, but we won't get into inflation and everything. So what do I want you guys to take away from this? Is really, if you want a fun activity to do with your friends, go see the movie. It's absurd, it's ridiculous, it's hammy, it's cheesy, it's all of those things. It has a cat, which some of you might like, others might not like. You can still watch the movie even though it has a cat and you don't like cats. It'll appeal to your inner cat lady if you're a cat lady, or cat dude who wants to be a cat lady. Anyway, that's it. That's all I had to say. Really, I would recommend you go see Argylle in general. But don't expect, just don't expect masterpiece, expect absurdity entertainment. Okay? I think that's fair to say. I think that's not a huge... anyway, yeah. And if you want me to do a full review, play-by-play, going through, let me know. But otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, I guess give it a like. My channel doesn't have a whole lot of subscribers, so I don't really care if you subscribe or not. If you want to, feel free. There will be more videos like this if people want them, and if not, I'll keep just doing whatever I feel like, I guess. And see you later.